Hey YouTube family, I am Segela, home of motivation, inspiration, and life in general. Welcome to another video. Today we are talking about test exam technique. My people who are writing CTA, I do acknowledge that they are going to write their first test in few days, so this will help for them, and for others who are writing ITC it will also help. But I feel like for those who are writing ITC, I've already have mentioned in their videos. So the papers of the test, if we can start there, right guys, if you are following the learning process, the purpose of the test is to test whether you understand the content that was lectured and tutored to you. All right, yes, it might or it affects your DP, which causing you guys to derail on the process, and it causes you guys to focus on tests, on getting high marks instead of taking it as a learning process and making sure that you understand the things that are covered, so that by the time you have to write your final exams, you do not have to worry, right? So your exam technique, right, shouldn't be different with the way you are supposed to answer your question on the day of the exam. What I'm trying to say is, the things that you do when you're practicing, you should be doing exactly those things on the day of the exam itself, and not trying to do new things on the day of the test or the exam, because you are shooting yourself in the foot by doing that. And what is this exam technique that I'm talking about, right? When you're doing your assignments, when you're doing your, because I believe that for your first test, even all your tests, they are tested based on the assignment or the tutorials that were covered before that test for that period, right? And not based on the prior year exam, because you failed. Now you want to go back and download ITC exams, you want to go and download CIMA exams for MENEC because you are struggling, and you want to go and Google and download ACA exams. Guys, I cannot believe there are people who do this. You have enough material. You don't need to go now and download PSYCHA exams for test one. Like you are trying to coming with a gun on a knife fight now, of which now you might end up getting arrested, not without even winning the fight. No man, guys, let's not do this. Follow the process. It's to test whether you understand the content which was covered. How are you now supposed to preparing for this? You do the tutorials that are covered, are supposed to be covered by the test, right? You know your modules, you know your coverage, right? So do again the tutorials that you have done. Make sure that you understand the work, or maybe practice tests if they have given you any, or if you are repeating, you know what, maybe you want to do prior year's first test, or prior years, even if you are not, you want to do last year's first test, which is what is relevant, rather than you going and to print by your own the whole ITC question. No guys, do last year's test one under the exam condition. What is the exam condition that I'm talking about? You will be given, like, the exam condition, you should be in a space whereby you will be able, if the exam is 1 hour 15 minutes, you will be able to spend 1 hour 15 minutes without any disturbances. If you are going to be disturbed, go and change the environment. I have said in that video number 1 that change the environment if you feel like things are disturbing you, and this up and down. We are in a Easter weekend. John Wick, apparently everyone is playing John Wick and it's very disturbing. Then go to the office, there's aircon there, you will work nicely, you will see you are cruising nicely, right? So what you are supposed to do, you sit down, you allocate, you do everything exactly the way that you would on the day of the exam, right? You allocate yourself. If they were going to give you 15 minutes to read, give yourself 15 minutes and do nothing else but read. Don't go to the required. Read the scenario for understanding, not for answering. You read for understanding, and when you're reading for understanding, make some notes on your available space, or take a piece of paper, blank paper, and make some notes as you understand the scenario. All right, and then when you receive your required, now read all your required. You don't only read number one that says calculate this or evaluate this and then jump to an answer. No, you read all your required. So if required number one is 15 marks, you say 15 multiplied by 1.5, it gives you the total minutes which you should be spending in that question. And do that for all your questions. Write the total minutes which you should be spending. 1.5 multiplied by the max, it's the total maximum minutes which you should be spending on that time. And then when you answer the questions, guys, move on. If the time lapses based on your calculation, you move on. It doesn't matter if you know you how much you know, you feel like you are mastering this question, you can get few more marks. Truth is, you might be repeating things that you have already said, right? Because your mind is really under pressure and you don't remember what you've said and what you still need to say. So it's high chance that you will repeat things that you've said, and maybe your answer that you will add with 5 minutes, maybe it's just gonna get 1 mark for it. So instead of wasting your time, move on and go to the next question. I know it's hard to move on, but that's why people are failing, because they can't move on, right? Because it's usually first questions, they're usually the hardest, and the easy questions are usually the one at the end, and people don't have time to apply themselves. They don't have enough time to understand that question, even though it's very easy, and they end up messing up the whole thing and losing easy marks, which is completely unnecessary. Just move on, do yourselves a favor and move on when the time lapses, and then you start with the ones you are familiar with, right? So if you see that, okay, I know this question, out of these 5 things that are required, you are confident about 3, start with those 3, because they're gonna boost your confidence. And sometimes, you know, a question maybe feeds from another one, so you'll be able to think. You are already in the thinking zone, so it will be easier for you to think outside the box. And at all the time when you are receiving difficult question, go back to the basic principles. Ask yourself, what are the processes that needs to be followed before you can answer this question? So that's what you guys are supposed to be doing, not this up and down of trying to panic and spending too much time on a question. That is what is actually causing you guys to fail, because you are unable to move on and you panic when you receive a difficult question. So try to calm down, go back to the basic principles, answer what you can, and then you can move on, right? And then do everything under exam condition, right? So after you have done your tests, right, you mark it, you calm down, you give yourself time, because you have time to prepare. You give yourself time to mark it, and then when you mark it, you ask yourself where you went wrong, why didn't you get the marks. If your mind couldn't remember, why couldn't your mind remember? Probably because you don't have sufficient sleep, which you can fix that, because if you don't have sufficient sleep, your mind will have memory problems. You will forever have memory problems if you do not have sufficient time to sleep, or maybe you have too much consumption of caffeine. So reduce your caffeine and try to sleep sufficient hours, and mark yourself, make notes, right guys? Make notes. That's how you learn. That's the learning process. Make notes so that you can go over, before you do the next exercise, go over the notes that you've made, so that you don't repeat the same mistake. Or you also read the examiner's comments if you have, so that you don't make mistakes that were made by other people, right guys? That's what you do. So now if you are writing online, right, at UNISA, and your exam is online and it will be uploaded online, you don't wanna be reading a question paper from the screen of your laptop, because what you are used to do is to studying from a manual paper. Now it's an adjustment for you that happens on the day of the test. So to solve that, go to the office, right? If you don't work from the office, or maybe there is no way you can go to an office, you can go to the nearest coffee shop. I think they give you 15 minutes before you can start writing, so you can print it out, and then you can type it. Now at least you don't have to go to the reading screen and the typing and doing all of these things that are going to waste your time and make you inefficient. So maybe study from the office, print out your question and your required everything, print it out, stable it, so that it's going to be easier for you. It's going to be an easy process, so that you only have to deal with answering and not having to go from tab to another tab or page to another page on the laptop. It actually helps. And I am aware that they allow you maybe 30 minutes, so don't go beyond. After you have finished writing on the day of the test, after you have finished writing, when the time lapses, the final time lapses, just stop, because there might be system problems, because it's a lot of people who are using it sometimes, so maybe it takes longer to upload. So don't shoot yourself on the foot by saying 30 minutes, it's a lot of time, I can be able, maybe I can upload, try to finish up, maybe give myself half of that time. You might have a problem, right? And you're not gonna complain, because we had the whole 30 minutes to fix your technical IT issues, so they won't take that reasoning, right? So what you need to do, just stop writing, upload your test, and then voila, you are done with the exam, and then you move on with your life. Guys, I wish you all the best on your first test. Please do everything under exam condition. Do what I have prescribed for you to do. If you are struggling, don't study at home, because people are making too much noise. If you are struggling with social media, leave your phone at home. If you have a TV and it's disturbing you, sell it, because you don't want any things that are going to stand on your way between you passing CTA in 2021. And I really want you to pass this time, so give it your all. Try to minimize those inefficiencies, things, guys. Unnecessary time wasters. Unnecessary. Social media is an unnecessary time waster. Taking long nap is an unnecessary time waster. Try to be effective as much as you can. Leave your phone, leave your apartment. If you're struggling, you wanna watch TV, you have Wi-Fi, you wanna be up and down, and this craziness needs to end. Like, honestly, it needs to end, right? We need to take care of our studies, and we need to make sure that this year we are passing no matter what. So we need to do things right. We need to follow the process right. We need to do things correctly, right? So do that, guys. I don't know if there's anything else you can write down in the comment section below. And I wish you all the best. You see, I'm not out and about. I'm here creating videos for you guys. When will you ever be serious about yourself, right? Think positively, be positive. If you receive a difficult question, stick to the basic principles. Don't fuss over it. There's other easier ones that you can get, right? So I wish you all the best. If you have not done that already, so please subscribe. I have a lot more content to create. If you do not subscribe, you won't be notified. Hit the notification bell. If you don't subscribe, you won't get them. You would get them by chance, and then it might be too late before you even have an opportunity to do that what I've said on the video. So please support me so I can support you. When you subscribe, you motivate me to create more content. Thank you. I wish you all the best. Bye.